Thanks for your company. It's now time to do tech news. Kobe Nkrumah is here. Kobe.
Hi.
Bad news for Bitcoin.
Bad news for Binance.
Well, hackers have found their way around the system, and they have stolen $41 million worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What does this mean for Bitcoin?
So what it means for the company, the exchange that was hit. So the way Bitcoin works is that people deal with an exchange. So they buy and sell, trade through that exchange. So they are like the intermediary. So they had a hot wallet where they keep some funds, which are outgoing or incoming. And it was about 2% of all the amounts of Bitcoins that they had. And what these hackers did was they used phishing methods and viruses to get login credentials. So APIs and the rest to get the login credentials. And then they got into the hot wallet and stole the money. About $41 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, this is the interesting part. Since that money was stolen, it's being traced. And what they've realized is that they're trying to break it into little pieces by transferring them into various little accounts as it goes. So basically trying to let the trace disappear. Now, if they manage to do that, then they'll be $41 million rich.
We thought Bitcoin was the future, but it appears it's not so safe. Cryptocurrency is not so safe as we are made to believe.
In everything that happens, you know, there's bad people who always look at the way to take advantage of the system and then benefit from it. It is safe. It's safe in the sense that basically you can do certain transactions easy and everything, but when the hunter decides to learn how to shoot without missing, you know, the birds also start to learn to fly without perching. So basically that's what's happening.
All right, let's move on to another story. And this may be of a lot of relevance to us here in Ghana because we recently started piloting the malaria vaccines, and we saw a lot of videos that people were sharing. Some people who claimed that that vaccine was supposed to wipe us all out, and it wasn't proper. The World Health Organization and Ghana's Health Ministry had to come out and assure all those who were taking part in the vaccination exercise that it's safe. But Instagram wants to do something, even though we didn't see a hashtag for what happened in Ghana, in other parts of the world. And this is a big deal, the issue of vaccinations, and people spreading fake news about it. What is Instagram trying to do to deal with the problem?
So basically those who are trying to spread this fake news, they're using a hashtags like vaccination causes autism, vaccination causes AIDS, which, I mean, doesn't make any sense. But luckily, Instagram is looking out for these hashtags, and when they see them, they block them. So that post will not make it to people's timelines, thereby spreading all this misinformation. It's come to notice that like people fear the vaccination and come up with some very weird stories. So even on Facebook, you'd see a story like someone was talking about how a child was vaccinated, and next thing the child died the next day. The child was actually killed by a car accident. So how has the vaccination got anything?
A link?
So Facebook, using these same hashtags, took down such posts. And
it's interesting. It reminds me of a story I saw of a young man who sued his school because they didn't want to allow him because he had not been vaccinated, and he now has chickenpox. So it's interesting. But finally, Nike wants to do something interesting, augmented reality, to get your perfect shoe size. And that's for some of us who have really large feet.
And some of us who have very weird. So imagine that you always have to choose between a size 43 and a size 44. Sometimes
find a middle ground.
You have to find a middle ground somewhere. You might get in one foot is too big, and then so Nike has come up with a solution. They have an app, and all you have to do is scan your foot. So use augmented reality, which basically uses your camera, takes a picture of your foot and marks around it, and takes measurements and sends to Nike, and then Nike can customize the footwear only for you.
Is it so expensive? I'm sure a lot of people are thinking.
It will be, because it's just a one-off for just you. It might not be extremely expensive, but it may be more than the typical price that you usually pay.
Thank you very much, Kobe Nkrumah, there with what's happening in the world of technology. But coming up shortly in business, domestic travelers to get compensation for denied boarding and delays as Ghana Civil Aviation Authority looks to implement consumer protection directives. Darryl Kwao has details shortly. Just stay.